Hey, what's up guys? How's it going? This right here is the Hyundai IONIQ 5N, and I'm gonna give you guys an outside walk around, an inside tour, and show you guys how this thing is a beast of an electric hot hatch. All right guys, so starting with the exterior styling, that's really the big thing outside of the performance that we wanna get into here. So all new front fascia, and honestly, it changes the character completely. Just look at the more aggressive active shutter vents up front here. They open and close still, just like a regular IONIQ 5, but they're intended to feed in even more air to cool down the battery, to cool down those motors and that entire system. But you still get a really aggressive front fascia design. Like look at the vents they have over here with this, gunmetal gray accent that goes up to the top. You still get the nice red accenting that goes all the way across, even more vents down here with those active shutters. And even up top, that LED mustache that you got on like a regular IONIQ 5 turns into vents even up here, and you have that nice center marker red right there. And then the Hyundai badge is blacked out and flush with the hood, which is super cool, very stealthy. And then going on to the Pixel LED headlights, they look even cooler with that blacked out housing, very menacing. And then the little lip of that hood that leans over gives it kind of an angry look, which I really like to see that. And you still get vents even alongside here to give you a nice air current around this portion for those wheels to reduce drag ultimately. But let's talk about the wheel package here. This is sitting on a 21-inch wheel. The Michelin tires measure 275/35 R21s, and these ones are Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires. The wheel design looks really cool. You obviously get bigger, higher performance red brake calipers for the end model and on the center cap. And then look at these wheel arches. They're paint matched. They look really cool. You don't get the same design as a regular IONIQ 5, and they really fill up this the body really nicely with those wheels. Coming along the side here, you do get blacked out mirror caps. Similar design as far as the side goes with the geometric styling, and then your fold out, your pop out handles, kind of like a Tesla, but these just electronically pop out when you unlock the vehicle. It's on display right now, so they're gonna stay like that, but they will go flush when you actually have this car in front of you. Going down here, you do get a nice side skirt that has this black has a black portion and the red accent that goes all the way across here. And then if you come to the back here, you'll see N kind of pressed into this portion, vents here and vents here. And seeing vents in a kind of to accentuate that wider body and also provide airflow around the rear tire. It's functional, but also looks really cool. As far as the wheel package in the rear, it's a square setup. So 275 on all four corners. And when we'll go into inside, you do get the ability to distribute the torque front and rear depending on different settings in the front menu. So that's super cool. All right guys, so coming on the rear, I mean, it looks even cooler from the back. Let's start up top and work our way down. You get this spoiler here, and you can kind of see feeds air from up top here, and then you get that dual kind of split setup over here. So it's obviously functional, meant to kind of hunker this down, give it some downforce, and reduce drag as best as possible, even though this is really just a brick with 640 horsepower. You do get a windshield wiper. That's a huge thing for the IONIQ 5. And on the end model is to have that great for people who are driving in more inclement weather, snowy conditions. It won't just kick on here like a normal IONIQ 5. You get a wiper, and I actually really am happy to see that. But let's talk the rest about the design. The Pixel LED headlights look super cool with that more dark blacked out housing that it peeks through. And then you get blacked out IONIQ 5 lettering over here, the blacked out logo, and this nice gunmetal gray accenting underneath it with the red center marker. But coming down even lower than that, you get the Pixel, but it really looks like more of a checker setup with the rear reflector over here. And then this does not look like functional vents, but they look like a little insert to give it that wider body appearance, make it look more aggressive with that gloss black housing that continues all the way across and even going onto this diffuser. Very aggressive. It's not like just like there for styling. It actually is aggressive, and it's functional to really suck the body of the car to the ground. I'm not sure how realistic that is, but they're trying to do that here, which is cool. Third brake light right there, which is awesome. And if you come along here, you'll see the iconic N badge. So they're really trying to go all out with the design to match the performance. And if you're wondering what the performance is, let's open the hood and talk numbers. All right guys, so opening up the hood, we're not gonna see any storage space. We're gonna see this engine cover, and who needs front storage space? No one's really using it, I feel like, in practicality, especially if it's not super easy to access, but that's not the point of this. The point here is that they put a bigger motor up front, a bigger motor in the back to give you 601 horsepower at all times, which is crazy that you're seeing that out of a Hyundai. I never thought we'd live in a day where you get 600 horsepower from a Hyundai, but it is right now. And with that overboost function, which I'll get into a little later, you get up to 641 horsepower for 10 seconds. So that's super cool to see. Charging times, it's still based on the 800 volt architecture. So you're still gonna see that 10 to 80% in around 18 minutes, which is cool. And the range hasn't been formally announced, but my personal guess is that this is gonna be around 220 miles of range. Maybe when we hop inside, we can take a peek at that and see what the estimate is based on this being full charge. But this is a pre-production unit, so the numbers have not been official and have not been finalized because of EPA testing. So, but I mean, outside of that, you just get a nice little N badge, some pixels, and that's pretty much some wires. I mean, it's an electric vehicle, so what more can you ask for? So coming inside, you'll notice it's a little dark in here because there is no sunroof option. You cannot get that on the IONIQ 5N, but what you do get are way more supportive performance bucket seats that have leather, very aggressive leather side bolsters, and the perforation in the middle with, just like the Elantra N, illuminated M badge on the middle right there. Super nice touch. Turns on when you turn on the car and get inside. So it's really cool attention to detail. As far as the rest of the interior goes, they did make some updates versus the regular IONIQ 5. And starting with that is the center console over here. So it's this fixed unit, this fixed kind of wireless charger setup with your USB ports over here that you can change from charging to charging and USB connection. And then you get your Qi wireless indicator and a USB-C port right there. On the side over here, just a knee pad, nothing crazy. I mean, they know people are gonna be driving this hard and want that knee side, that knee support, which is a cool touch. But coming down here, they changed the center console setup. So you have USB, your 12 volt, 180 watt power outlet. You do get the pop out cup holders that swivel around with this large center console portion. You can just press that, pops those out, and then you get a dedicated center console space down here. So this whole thing is changed and revised for this this model, and it might be for the entire model year going forward. And I think that's super nice to see. It's a lot more practical. You don't get the tunnel here. You actually get practical storage space to put a phone, which is nice. And then coming on the screens, they have been improved. I'm gonna see if I can go home here. Cool. So I want to show you guys the end menu because this is all new. Look at that super cool animation graphic. You have your motor from Eco, Normal, Sport, and Sport Plus. Steering, you have Normal, Sport, and Sport Plus. Suspension, obviously same thing. NAS is that augmented sound. You can have off, ignition, evolution, and supersonic. We can't try that out right now because this thing is on a battery tender, unfortunately, so we won't be able to hear those sounds, but there are videos out there that show you that. And then you have your ELSD, which is like electronically controlled because that power split left and right is controlled by the motor and the software. And then you have N-Launch activator right there. Going on to performance options, you get really cool things such as your NE shift, which is simulating gear shifts. It simulates an 8-speed DCT. So what it's doing is simulating an 8-speed DCT. So you get a torque drop off between gear shifts. So you feel like it's kind of kicking you into the next gear. And you could technically redline the motor where it'll just stop accelerating forward until you switch into the next gear. And that's cool that they're trying to make this, to give it some character, make it feel like an engine or a motorized vehicle, for the purposes of giving someone on track the experience of them having control of the motors, of the powertrain, while they go about experiencing it at the limits while they're driving on track. The other things you get, obviously, is that N-active sound here. Those 3 settings: supersonic, ignition, evolution. You could turn it off though if you don't want the gimmicks, if you don't care about that stuff. I personally like it because it gives you a sense of speed and a sense of motion, which is cool. And it also sends a throttle input, which is cool. You have N-Road Sense, which I'm on, let's see. Double curve sign sense, okay. And battery preconditioning. So if you're using it on the drag strip or the racetrack, you can precondition the battery for certain track uses, which is cool. So that's gonna obviously impact your range, but it'll get the battery in the optimal condition to maximize performance in those specific situations. But with that, let's hop onto the driver's side and show you what you get from my perspective. So what's really cool on the driver's side is they took that pixel theme and made it more like a checker flag theme. So you get what looks like the pixels, but really you start to feel more like it's a checker flag design on the door. You also get it on the door sill here next to your N badge. And then look at the pedal box real quick. The pedal box has a dead pedal that has the pixels, but I really feel like this is more of like a race checker flag design. It's on the pedal, brakes, and the gas right there, which looks super cool. But we have to talk about this steering wheel. Very nice perforation on the side portions right here. Very nice bolsters for your fingers and hands to just wrap around. And then you get all the buttons here. Starting on the left is the drive mode button, which you can use to change your drive mode: Eco, Sport, and Normal. Then you have your NGB, which is N Grin Boost. And basically, like I mentioned when we went under the hood, is this will give you 10 seconds of an additional 40 horsepower to 641 horsepower, which is really cool, kind of like your end grid shift. It's like overboost. You're getting that on this electric motor for a brief instance because it knows the limitations of the battery system based on temperature and things like that. So you press that button, 10 seconds of extra power. You still have your 2 end buttons. You can customize those as you prefer, just like the Elantra N, which is cool to see. And then going on to the center portion, this nice N badge over here looks really cool. And it's a change from just the 4 dots to even, you don't even have a Hyundai logo inside here. It's just that N badge and then this entire experience, this driver focused experience that you get from my perspective. One other thing I want to point out, if you look closely right now, this is a fully charged vehicle and it's saying we should get 225 miles of range. So again, EP estimate's not finalized, but that's what we're seeing right now in this pre-production IONIQ 5N that we're showing you today. But yeah guys, that's gonna wrap it up here. If you guys have any questions about the IONIQ 5N, drop them in the comment section below. I'll try my best to answer them. If you enjoyed this video, smash the like button and subscribe for more. I'll see you guys in the next one. And yeah, peace.